Welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. And before we begin, can I ask you something? Have you ever noticed that even your self care can start to feel like something you're trying to get right? Like you've downloaded the apps, bought the supplements, tried the routines, and at the end of the day, your shoulders still are tight, your mind is still racing, and you're lying in bed thinking, why can't I just calm down? I've been there, my beloveds. There were years when I thought if I just tried harder, meditated better, organized better, disciplined myself more, I would finally feel steady inside of my own body. But what I've learned slowly and humbly is that most of us are not failing at healing, we're just overwhelmed. And when the world feels loud, politically, socially, emotionally, our nervous systems absorb that noise whether we mean it or not. So if something in you feels tired in the way that sleep doesn't fix, if you're holding more than you let on, you're not broken. You might just need a softer climate. So I invite you to pull up a chair and let's talk about our internal weather. This is the Gilded Leaf, a space for medicinal tea, nervous system healing, and soul work. A place where we slow down enough to hear ourselves think, enough to notice what's happening inside of our bodies. Hi, I'm Bridget, the writer and voice behind the Gilded Leaf. And for those that don't know me yet, I'm a leaf lover, an avid gardener, a harvester, an herbalist, a formal social worker, and a practitioner of Chinese medicine. But more than credentials, I'm someone who has spent decades trying to understand what it means to live inside a sensitive nervous system. Before I ever held a formula, I held stories. For many years, I worked in social services, sitting with people in trauma, transition, and survival. I watched how stress didn't leave the bodies when the event ended. It lingered, it settles into the shoulders, the tissues, the fascia, the digestive system, the sleep, the tone of voice, even the way someone scans a room without realizing they're doing it. And later, when I completed my master's in traditional Chinese medicine, or like I like to refer to it as TCM, I gained language for what I had already witnessed, but didn't yet have the words for. And I promise, this doesn't have to sound complicated. TCM, at its heart, asks something very simple. What is the weather like inside your body? Is it overheated? Do you have hot flashes or hot sensations? Is it dry? Do you have an overwhelming sense of thirst? Is it stagnant? Is it exhausted? Those kinds of cues gives the landscape to how to start to think about herbs as a medicinal way of healing from the inside out. So, when we live in constant stimulation, and especially in the seasons of political tension, cultural division, and nonstop information, the body responds. Heat rises, thoughts speed up, sleep thins, emotions sit closer to the surface. And in TCM, we call energy chi, and chi can get stuck, and that's when we feel tight in the chest or easily irritated or bracing without even noticing it. That doesn't mean that we're failing. It means that our internal climate needs to be tended to. And I don't speak about this from a distance. I'll share something. I live with ADHD, and for most of my life, there wasn't language for it. There was no vernacular. There was only the sense that I experienced the world louder and faster than others. My nervous system ran hot. I felt overloaded. I overthought. I overfelt. I overresponded. I overprocessed. And it took years of study and humility to understand that I didn't need to overpower my body. I just needed to regulate it. And that's where the Gilded Leaf was born, where medicinal teas became a devotion for me. Not aesthetic, not trendy, just practical. I learned that these various herbs, like lemon balm, softened my anxious edges, or oat straw rebuilt what stress quietly drained, or the herb chrysanthemum cooled my overanalyzing mind, or the herb rose eased my feeling of constriction that formed in my heart center, where I was feeling that I was carrying too much, or Shisandra, which helped my body adapt without collapsing. And learning all of these plants don't override you, that they hold hands with you, that they're medicinal, that they collaborate with your internal weather. And sometimes the reframing in itself is part of the medicine, right? Because in a world that constantly pulls your attention outwardly, learning to come back into your body is one of the most stabilizing things you can do to honor yourself. When your internal climate steadies, your responses change. And from what I've experienced, my clarity changes, my capacity changes. And that's the practice here. So within the Gilded Leaf, every episode of these podcasts begins with a topic, a short summary, and today's steeping, right? And the today's steeping, cheers. Let me take a sip. I'll share what's in my cup and why. The energetic properties of the herbal combinations is an invitation, a reminder that healing doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's simply boiling water and giving your nervous system 5 to 10 undistracted minutes to notice the river of emotional thoughts that are running through you. So if this space resonates with you, I'd love for you to tell me your thoughts, or to subscribe here on Substack, or to follow along on your favorite podcast platform, whether that's on the Gilded Leaf, on Apple Podcast, or on YouTube, whatever. When you do, we'll go deeper. Long form reflection, seasonal nervous system guidance, herbal education in plain language, and the rituals that fit into real life. And soon, my signature blends, which are thoughtfully and intentionally formulated for real nervous system um, and for real living real lives, will be available through the Gilded Leaf Boutique on Shopify. Meet me over there for teas that are designed to recalibrate rather than override. And if you know someone who needs a warm cup of tea, of medicinal healing, and a little soul work in the middle of all the noise, pass this podcast along and help me widen my circle, because community is also medicine too. So, Before we part, my beloveds, imagine something simple: water heating, leaves unfurling, a body remembering how to soften. Because that's all we're doing here. Learning how to soften without collapsing, learning how to stay steady without hardening, learning how to tend the climate inside us, even when the world outside feels stormy. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to perform your growth. You just have to keep showing up to your own nervous system with curiosity and care. And when you're ready, come steep with me again. As always, this is Bridget signing off, steeped in intention and offered with care.